Alright, hello everyone, Simon here, and welcome back to our ARCHMINE100 series, where we're looking at architectural concepts discussed through Minecraft. Before we move on to the second exercise, which is what we're doing today, just a brief recap on the first exercise. So after the end of the second video, I said that I would raise the elephant by 1 block and make the legs a bit longer. I've done that. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but the elephant is slightly higher above ground, so it looks better now, I believe. So there you go. I mean, not much of a difference, but you know, if you see something that you want to fix, maybe you should take the time to fix it, just because it's better if you do things properly, especially in architecture. And like, people can tell the difference between something that somebody has spent a lot of time on and something that somebody didn't really care much about. So if you care about your designs, then definitely take the time to fix things if they're a problem. That's a pretty good elephant. I like how that turned out. Okay, let's move on to exercise 2, which is shops. Let's grab the book. Oh, this is the first one, my bad. Shops, that one. And then let's just destroy the instructions, because we don't need those anymore. Alright, what do we have? So exercise 2 is shops. The task, you are given the foundations and furniture for a shop and a cafe. Build appropriate buildings of your design around them. Avoid moving the furniture around. The purpose is to learn about the relationships between interiors and exteriors and the human experience of them. That's a fairly important concept in architecture, the human experience of spaces. It's something that I'll talk about a lot and something that you should probably think about a lot. How do people experience the shapes that you make? Notes, you can fly around in creative, or you can fly around in Minecraft creative mode, but design for a walking person. This is also important. Like when you make architecture, sometimes you'll see things from above, or you might get an interesting angle in your photos, or you might design from a plan or a section. But always keep in mind that when people use your building, when your building gets built and people use it, they'll be doing it on their feet, on the ground. So they'll be walking through your buildings, usually. And so you need to design for that perspective. And you know, because in Minecraft, you can kind of jump up and do this and fly around and look at things. This isn't good. I mean, it's useful, but it's not good because this is not how people use buildings. People don't fly around your buildings. People walk around your buildings. So always keep that in mind and design for walking people, if that makes sense to you. Carefully consider the placement of walls, doors, and windows, and carefully consider how a person might move through the building, what they want to do, and what they will see. So basically think about the person. Think about how a person will move through. So before we start, let's have a look at what we have. So this is the cafe, or this is the intended cafe. There's table, and a bunch of tables and chairs, and then there's the kitchen there. Kitchen staff only. So this is the kitchen, and then this is the place where people sit outside. I mean, you know, outside the kitchen. Alright, so we have this, and then we have the shop. There's a few shelves here, and then there's a few containers here, and then there's a few brewing stands here. There is a hill back here, so just kind of note the landscape a little bit, right? And then there appears to be an upper story. There's inquiries and pay here. So here's the counter. So this is the counter. There's bookshelves and chests and kind of chests here. So this is the shops. These are shelves and more shelves. And then there's an upstairs too. Let's go upstairs. What is this? And then there's like a table, and that's a small office of some sort. So that's the intent. Office, counter, store areas, and then at the cafe there's the kitchen and then the seating areas. Yeah, so then you need to build the shop. I mean, let me do my version, and you can do your version as you like, but keep in mind, like, what do you want to be indoors? What do you want to be outdoors? What do you want people to see? And keep in mind how people move around as well. So how should we do this? How should we do this? I mean, I know what I have in mind, I just don't know. Okay, let's start with the cafe, which is simple. But let's make things a little bit interesting for ourselves. Alright, let's first of all choose materials. What should we build the cafe out of? Quartz is a bit strange. Can do a red sandstone. Let's keep it timber, although there's already timber furniture. Let's keep it timber, and let's have like a oak. Alright, let's use oak. And we want windows are interestingly here. Let's have some glass panes. And let's have oak stairs and with my oak slab. And let's have oak wood. I'm picking these materials because I already know what I want. If you're new to Minecraft, this might be a bit daunting, like choosing what you want. I guess the way to start would be to keep things simple and start with maybe one material. And then when you build what you want, and then maybe you're not happy with it, then think about using other materials. So start things simple. Like I already know kind of what I want, so I'm kind of choosing the oak stuff. Alright, let's start with this. So, you know, when you're given something like this, maybe the temptation at the start is just to build a wall around the exterior, and hey, there, we're done. You know, we build a wall around it. But that would be too easy, I think. So let's have, I'm thinking, let's have this table on the inside of the building. Let's have this table as exterior seating. In fact, let me just come over here and grab some, where's my fences? Where is my fence? Oh, here we go. Oak fences. So have interior seating, exterior seating, and interior seating here. And have windows next to all the seating. Let's see how that goes. Alright? Alright. So let's put that there. Let's put this here. So put a wall there. But not there. And then we'll come over here. So I'm putting down where the walls are. See, I'm kind of experienced with architecture, so I'm doing this pretty much on the fly. And I'm kind of not having any troubles with this. If you are not an experienced designer, this might be a bit awkward for you. Because it won't come naturally to you. Let me just do that. Should I put a window there? I'm not sure. But this would be a solid wall because it's a kitchen. And then here it's kind of like a back door, isn't it? And then let's put a door there. So I'm thinking double doors. Double doors. These are massive windows, although maybe I want the windows not to go all the way to the ground, to be honest. Do I want windows all the way to the ground? It's a bit weird to have windows all the way to the ground. Maybe I'll replace these. Oops. Replace these. Yeah, let's do that. Because these are going to be windows. See, it's a bit strange if your windows touches the ground, but here I'm going to change it to a different material so that it's a window frame. It's not really the ground, it's the window frame. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. I guess I'll do that there. And then this will be a large window. So there's going to be a lot of windows. Which is good because we want to... I mean, the thing is, there's going to be a city square right there, a town square. And the views are kind of nice too. So imagine all of this built up. There's going to be nice views in this direction. So we want that. Alright, how tall is this going to be? So we know that the interior at least has to be this tall because that's how big that thing is. Maybe have some windows for the kitchen as well. That seems reasonable. Have some windows there. And have like a window there. Doors are... Okay, let's just grab some doors. Doors are 2 blocks high. Oak door, dark. Oh, interesting. There's different types of doors too. Fascinating. Maybe I want a different kind of... Now I want the door to be as open as possible. What is this like? Let me just see that. Oh, that's good. I like that. So because it's going to be a cafe, we want the door to be as open as possible. So people can see inside. Maybe this should be a bigger window. Let me just leave that open for now. And then think about how tall I want to make the building. So if you imagine that, and then this is going to be another door. And these are definitely windows in here. Alright, so we've decided that. Let's go inside. See how that looks from the inside. Alright, kitchen here. That's pretty good. Alright, there's a window there. Now, how tall do we want to make the building? It's already... So this is like 3 meters tall already. Let's go ahead and put the roof in. I think now's a good time to put the roof in. Let me do that. And then start building the roof. I want the interior to be kind of tall because we want the space to feel open and spacious. Like if your ceiling is too low, then it's gonna feel cramped and it's gonna feel like there's not enough space on the inside. So try not to have like a cramped interior. Actually, now that I do this, we probably want a column there, and then we probably want to extend the roof out here, or do we? Yeah, we want to cover that, so even if it's raining, we can still eat outside. I think I want to do that. Interesting. Alright, let's put some windows in. See how we feel about this once the windows are in. The glass panes are quite narrow. Alright, so there's large windows. Despite everything, this looks quite enclosed, and I think most of the issue is that the glass panes in Minecraft are not as transparent as you might expect in real life. You see like the massive marks on the windows. You don't see stuff like that in real life, really. So the glass in Minecraft is a bit unrealistic in that way, and it might put you off a little bit. But never mind. Alright, this is gonna be... Oh, that's right, this is gonna be a door actually, because we need a way for people to, actually come out here and eat here. And then we're gonna fence this off. So technically it's still part of the shop, like you can't just kind of... Well, I guess you can. You're not supposed to just hop over and go inside, so you're supposed to, come in the door, buy your food, and then maybe sit outside. And then, when you're done eating, you don't just run away, you have to pay. So you kind of have to come back out and pay here. Right, so that's the idea of that. Now, how to do the roof? How indeed? Let me try that. It's always good to have a bit of eaves around your building. And then I believe we just build like a kind of a pyramid around the whole thing. Well, actually, yeah, I've picked out logs and I haven't used... I've picked up oak wood logs and I haven't used them. I wonder if I should use the logs. See, what if I convert the corners to logs? Would that be better? Maybe it would be better if the corners were logs. It's a little bit better. Not sure how much better. Maybe I want more logs. So let's change these 2 logs, first of all. I mean, it's just cosmetic, right? It doesn't actually change the shape of the building. But it does give it a little bit more definition, you know, there's a bit of a difference in the material, which is interesting. Let's change let's change these 2 logs. The logs are sideways or vertical depending on where you put them. Alright, I think I like that. I think I like that. Just to add a bit more differentiation between the different parts of the building. There we go, that's kind of nice. Oh, and this, let's change this as well. There we go. Why exactly did I make this not window? Should I make this window as well? I should, shouldn't I? Let's just make a massive window here like that. There we go, more windows. We want this to feel open and spacious. Alright, so on the other side, let's just diagonal stairs all the way to the top. Or maybe we'll go 1 back actually. Go 1 block back. Do we want a pyramid? I guess that'll be, yeah, let's do a pyramid. I mean, the other option is to have a gable. I don't know if you know what a gable is. Maybe I should make a gable just to show you, or like a hybrid. Let's make an interesting roof. Let me just make this roof and then have a slightly more interesting shape. So let's do that on this side. And then here we want to diagonal it up on the inside as well. We're going to have to do something about lighting the interior. Let's think about that after we've done the roof. Alright, so I guess this will have to be extended upwards. And then let's go 1 more around. Right, very good. And then upside down again on the inside. Wooden roofs are actually quite unusual. Maybe I chose the wrong material. Usually it's something like a tile. Well, there's no tiles in Minecraft, is there? Like tiles or shingles or metal sheets. That's more common. Alright, and then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. So it's going to be a little bit of pyramid and then a little bit of gable. Like this. And I guess that should come across there. And that should come across there. And then we'll continue up here. And then we'll do this. I forgot what these are called. What the shape of this is called. Maybe up here we want to have skylights too. Okay, well let's just fill that in and we'll think about skylights in a little bit. Skylights will be good, right? Yes. Okay, let me just fill this in. And we'll continue this way, and this way, and then keep going up. Upside down stairs. and then the very top. And then here we can have some skylights. Kind of. How should I do this? What is the best way to do this? Maybe that? And then skylight there. And then here we do that. And then skylight there. Interesting. What an interesting roof. That there's a bit strange, but otherwise very interesting roof. So there we go, we have enclosed the cafe, and it looks like that from the outside. Let's step back a little bit, see how it looks. It looks like that from the outside. Interesting. I feel like the top of it is a little bit too sharp. Let me just flatten that out. It seems unnecessarily sharp at the top. There we go, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Interesting shaped roof. And we have a bit of exterior seating out here, and then the rest of it is interior seating. And there's the kitchen there, that's pretty good. Tables here. Alright, how do we do the lighting? Let's grab ourselves some glowstone. Let's think a little bit about lighting. So I suppose that makes sense. Oops, too low. Let's put that there. Is that? Oh, that's not even the right place. Let me change that to a block. I suppose that means we can also do... Oops, we can also do that. Have some hanging lights like that. That's pretty good. I like how that looks. And have some hanging lights down here. That's pretty good. And let's come out here and do the same thing. Kind of the same thing. Oh, did I do that wrong? Where would I put... hold on, let me think about this. I think maybe the thing to do would be to put it like there. Is that right? That looks right to me. It's right enough. It is right enough. Alright, so there's a bit of lighting there. Alright, great. Looks good to me. Maybe we can have like a little gate down here as well. Oh, whoops. Have a little gate, oak fence gate. Have a little gate down here for the kitchen. Alright. So we have turned this thing into an actual building. I like this. I mean, it's simple. I mean, it's not too complicated. It's fairly simple, but I like how this turned out. It's I mean, mostly it's just a wall, you know, around the whole thing. Except we did a little bit of interesting thing here where we put this table on the outside. All right, you know, as an exercise, that's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Now for the shop, how should we do this? So I think what I want is to put the front door like here somehow. The problem with the doors in the game is that they're not very big. Maybe we can just have it open. Let's just have it open. Okay, let's just choose some materials first. What materials should we choose? Maybe this one should be brick. Let's use brick this time. So let's get rid of that and that. Oops. Get rid of these things. Let's grab ourselves brick slab, brick block, brick stairs. What other materials? Let's choose two materials. We have brick and Oh, what's a good one to use? Red sandstone? Maybe I want red sandstone of all things. Slightly odd. What does red sandstone look like? Let me just put that down. Fascinating. What does brick look like? Well, it looks like a brick. Okay, well, again we want large windows, I think. How should we do this? So what I think these are they're like window side displays. So you basically want the windows to be like there. Maybe I want a door here. And that has to be, so let me just frame these things and have like doors there maybe. That's 3 blocks wide, so we can't actually put doors there. Because you can't have like large doors in Minecraft. Let's just keep these open. Have doors there. Or maybe I don't want doors there, maybe I don't want windows there. Not sure. Let's do that. And for the sake of symmetry, let's do that. Large windows? Large windows everywhere? Yeah, I think I want large windows everywhere. What if we continue this pattern? Is this pattern gonna work? If we just continue it, if I do that, and then what was that? 3 block window, 2 block wall. Let's try 3 block window, 2 block wall, 3 block window, 2 block wall, 3 block window, 2, 3, 2. It's a bit strange there, isn't it? Because that's the counter area. So this is not going to be like this, I don't think. Anyway, this is going to be a shelf. So we want wall all the way around here, to be honest. We want wall up to there. So how do we divide this? Or maybe we just do that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. That's good enough. So here we're gonna do that. So for this one, I'm just going to put the wall around the exterior of everything. I think that's fair enough because it's a shop, so most of it's gonna be interior anyway. I wonder if that's really what I want to do. Is that really what I want to do? Yeah, it is. Alright. So the shelves go like that. I think it's going to be quite tall, isn't it, the space? So should the window be this big? 3 blocks high? Yeah. Alright, let's do that. So it's going to be even taller than the cafe, isn't it? Well, I mean, the whole thing is, I'm talking about just the ground floor, because these shelves are that tall. That's the ground floor. I don't know if I'm probably not explaining this well enough. Like, what am I thinking as I'm putting these things in? Like, I want a pattern. I want a clear pattern, like here, for example, in the walls and the doors. And then I want to decide where I want the windows. So I want big windows. These are window displays, I've decided. Just going to put a big window there like that. And then here, I'm going to put a big window here. So we want a lot of windows so people can see into the shop and see all the great things they can buy, even though there's actually nothing on the shelves. Oh, that's right, we're going to change these because it's going to be a window. So I want a brick window frame around the window and not have it rest on the timber floor. So yeah, the only way for me to show you what I'm thinking is to actually build it, isn't it? So it's going to be like that, I'm thinking. And then maybe, let me just put my, my book away. I need more doors. What does the birch door look like? I'm not a big fan of the birch door. What does the jungle door look like? Not really a big fan of the jungle door neither. Let's stick with the acacia door. I just want it to be as open as possible, really. Alright, so this is gonna be an opening without even doors in them. Which is a bit strange, because I really want a big opening here, but I can't, and we don't have triple doors, for example. Maybe... Is that odd? Alright, we'll do it and then we'll see later on whether it's odd. So we're gonna build it and then we'll look at it and then we'll decide after we've looked at it. So let me just continue around here and put in these windows and doors. So we can see what the design looks like. Not that it's the final design, but just what the proposal is going to look like. So, I mean, I had the idea. I want to use brick, right? I want to set up this pattern with the windows and then doors, and then I want to see what it looks like afterwards. So before we decide whether or not this is good or bad, we need to build the whole thing and then look at it. So let me go around here and do all this. Let me come through here. Finish that off there. That's also going to be a window, and then it's going to continue through there. That's going to be a window, I think, except... okay, that's fine. I was worried about how the glass would behave. The glass would definitely behave strangely here. Maybe I should make this solid, because there's a foundation there, isn't there? The fact that the hill is just back here means that, you know, it's a bit strange to put a window here, right? So let's not do that. Maybe I want to remove that. Maybe I do want to remove that. How would I do here, though? Let me do that, just so that the window is clear and, you know, it's not a weird thing behind a foundation. So you know, you're allowed to change the furniture and the foundations a little bit if you want, keeping in mind that the point is to not move the furniture and figure out how to do it without moving the furniture. But if you want to move things a little bit, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Alright, so there's that. And then we need brick all around. Oh, it does line up. So you see the second floor starts there, right? Oh, this is good. It's actually working out the way I imagined it. Because the first floor ends there, and the second floor starts there. So that's good, actually. Alright, let's put that there. So this building is bigger than the cafe, and you can see that this basically just means we have to put more blocks down. So things start to get... You know, as you build bigger things, it becomes more challenging just because of the scale. And you know, just because you have to put down more blocks. But that's okay, we can deal with this. It's not a big deal yet. So we want that to be window, and then this to be window. But I want this to be open here, so let's clear that out. Switch that around. Oops. And then have this as a window there. Have this as a window there. Might as well change that back to more like, oops, more like that. Yeah, that's better. I'm just gonna move the foundation a little bit, as I said, to make the windows more consistent. Alright, let's just step back. So there's a brick building, there's large windows in it. The large windows are all the same size, which is good because you want things to be consistent so that people understand what's going on. Now that I look at these doors, what I think I want to do is push them back, at least by 1 block. Push them back at least by 1 block. Because what happens is, this emphasizes the entrance, right? If everything is flat, like that, then it looks really flat. I mean, you know, if it's flat, then it looks flat, obviously. So that's why sometimes you might want to push things back, make the wall a little bit thicker so that it doesn't look as flat. Sometimes that makes your building look more interesting. Also, from a practical perspective, you know, people coming in or leaving can have a little bit of shelter from the rain before they actually have to step right out into the open. So, you know, from a practical standpoint, having a bit of a recessed opening is actually good in that sense. Now, whether or not to turn this into doorways, I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure about this. Let me try turning this into doorways like the other ones and see how we feel about that. So it's going to be like that, right? And then doors there. And then same for this side. So we do this. How do we feel about this? I mean, it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay. I don't have a problem with this. Yeah, it's kind of okay. Let's keep it like this. I'm okay with this. All right. So there's the ground floor. Now, what do we do up here? We can start building the roof, or alternatively, we can keep going up because there's going to be a second floor here, right? Which is complicated in its own way. So there's an office up here. What I think I'll do is... what to do? Let's come back to this one. Let me just think about this for a little bit more. Also, why is that... oh, do I want to do this? Alright, let's do that. What do we do next? There's a part of me that wants to go straight up with the Smooth Red Sandstone until we hit the top of the next floor. Let me start here. So the next floor has to be... so then the ceiling will be above this. It's gonna be this tall. Wait a minute, 5 blocks? Really? Wow, that's a lot. What's down here? 1, 2, 3. It's 4 blocks there. Let's make it 4 blocks here as well and have the ceiling start 1 block above it. No, maybe the upper story can be low. No, that's strange too. Maybe the upper story can be 2.5 meters tall. 2.5? 2.5 is good. Like if it's 2 meters tall, then the ceiling is too low. This is the sort of stuff you know if you are an architect. So a 2 meter ceiling means that, you know, your head is almost at the ceiling. It's a bit strange. Most doorways are 2 meters tall, and then ceilings are a bit taller than that. So if you know 2 blocks and then ceiling is a bit too low. 3 blocks and then ceiling, I was thinking is a bit too high. So maybe 2.5 and then ceiling is what I'm thinking. So again, this is the sort of stuff that you would know if you are used to designing and you know how spaces are when you design. Whereas if you're not as experienced with designing buildings, then some of this stuff might just be completely news to you because you haven't encountered them before. That's okay, you know, everything comes with experience. Now, what should we do about this? A big window or 2 small windows? I think 2 small windows is more sensible. Alright, so then here, how did I do that? Alright, 2 small windows. 2.5 meters from floor to ceiling. Maybe just keep that in mind. As a rule of thumb, you don't have to follow it all the time, but in general that's a good idea. The problem is I actually don't want to do that. Because here, I'm thinking, what I want is a balcony, believe it or not. What I want here is actually a balcony. Like that. But then that means we want to have a walkway around the outside of the balcony like this, and then probably windows around the office. So this is going to be an office, right, up here. And then that means this has to shift over like that, which is also okay. Interesting. Alright, that works out quite well. So let me just show you what I mean. I want windows there. Windows, windows, more windows, more windows. And the reason I move this over is because then this becomes a doorway. Right, this becomes... What is the interior? So let's put in a different door for the interior. Let's put in an oak door on the interior. So then this becomes a door into the office. Like this. And then there's like interior windows between the office and the shop space. And then there's a door there, like that. Right, so this is the office. I guess I can move the office around a little bit. This seems to be a little bit cramped there, that little table there. We'll leave this for now. So there's kind of views outside. Now what to do about the rest of the building? Do I just extend the walls up and that's it? Maybe I do. Maybe that's exactly what I do. Let's try it. Let's try it. You know, as always, if you're not sure about something, just try it and see what happens. I guess we want big windows up here too, don't we? Let me lay 1 block around the whole edge. And then start thinking about putting windows above as well. And then I guess it will make sense if the windows on the 2nd floor, or rather the upper part of the 1st floor, because it's going to be a double height space. I guess if the windows line up with the ones on the bottom, that would make more sense, right? So what if we do that? and then we do that, and then the windows are going to be like there and there, right? You see what's going to happen? So the windows line up. Try to make things line up. It usually looks tidier if they do line up. I guess if you don't want things to look tidy, if you want things to look messy, then you don't have to make things line up. But it makes more sense if things do line up. So we're going to make sure the windows line up. And probably line up with the doors too, right? Although this does mean that the opposite sides of the building don't line up. So like this doesn't line up with the one behind there. Is that a problem? It's probably not a problem. Might be slightly weird. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. Sometimes you would want the opposite sides of the building to also line up. If you're thinking about structure and you want to put a beam across the building, for example, then it would make more sense if everything does line up on opposite side of the building. I don't know if I can illustrate here. Like if you wanna, because if you think about columns and beams and you want to build a building frame. Imagine a building without walls, right? You have columns holding up the roof, and then you have beams stretching across the building. The columns have to line up if you want your beams to stretch across the building. Does that make sense? So here, this is actually not the best thing to do because the beams don't really line up, which is a bit of an issue. Did I do this the same way the other side? No, I actually made it 2 blocks there. Yeah, so you can't really put a beam from, I guess you can put it from here to here. But for example here, you can't put a beam from here to here because there's a window here. There's no column holding up this beam if I put one here. And then not here neither, so if this were a column and beam construction, it's gonna be a bit weird. Alright, well let's not talk about that too much, but basically it's gonna be bad architecture if this was in real life. But I guess there are other ways to hold up the ceiling. You don't really have to have the walls holding up the ceiling. But there's no columns here neither. Okay, well, I'm just gonna concede that this is not very good architecture from a structural perspective. But remember in the last lecture we did say that there's no gravity in Minecraft. So we're not gonna care too much about structure anyway. What to do? I can always... Well, what I can do is reconsider the glass and the windows. Let's do that. Let's just do it right. Alright, let's do it properly. Let's do things properly. And line things up. Alright, if we line things up, it means that that's gonna be the window there. Because that's not too much of a problem. So we're gonna line things up according to the opposite side. So now we're gonna line that up. So there's gonna be a 3-block window, and then a 2-block door, and then I guess a 3-block window. So this is gonna be different here. 3-block window. Wait a minute, what? 3-block window. Oh, this is... Wow. 3-block, 2 blocks, and then 3... Oh, my bad. My bad. So that goes there. And then that's glass. I almost talked myself out of doing this properly. But I guess I should do this properly. Because I'm trying to demonstrate how architecture works. And if I don't do this properly, then it's like I'm a bad teacher or something. Okay, So then this is gonna be, let's line everything up. 3 blocks, 2. Alright, well that's not, I mean in the end I think that's gonna be better, to be honest. So let's line things up. Let's do that. So it's gonna be like that. 1, 2, oops, and then 2 blocks, and then that's gonna be glass there, and then here that's gonna be, oops, here this is gonna be glass there. What's going on? Alright, we're good, don't worry about it. And then this is gonna be like that, and then this is gonna be 3 blocks, and then 2. Is that what I did the other side? 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, and then like 3, right? And then 1, and then 1, and then 1. Right, okay, now it lines up. And so now if I put a beam across here, then it rests on top of this column, that column there, and it's going to rest on that column there, and then it's going to be structurally believable. Alright, so I talked myself back into doing this properly. There you go, I hope you're happy. I hope that makes you real proud of me for being a proper architect, even though we're playing video games. And you know, in the end it's not that much of a... I mean, I was trying to talk myself out of it because I thought it would be too much work. You know, in the end it wasn't that much work. So I guess, you know, you should always spend the time to make things right, instead of trying to talk your way out of doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Okay, there we go. So there's going to be a double height space in the middle. And there's going to be like a counter there and an office there. Now the roof. What on earth do we do about the roof? Do we use a different material again, or do we just continue? Maybe I want to use a different material again. Maybe I just want to use the same oak stairs for the roof in the middle, because for consistency. Yeah? Alright, for consistency, we're gonna go back to oak. Let me just pick up the oak stairs and the oak planks. And come on, let's go set time set day, so we can see what's going on. How do we do the stairs again? I mean, how do we do the ceiling again? Let's start with putting a whole thing around here. What I might do this time is have a gable roof. Let's make it a little bit simpler this time. Like, that one was kind of complicated. A little bit too complicated. Or maybe I should have a more shallow roof. Let's do that. Let's have slabs instead of stairs, so we can have a more shallow roof. And maybe that way we can not make this thing so tall, because this is turning into a really, really tall building already as it is. Right? And maybe we should put some beams on the inside. Let's do that. Let's put some beams on the inside, because I went to all that trouble to make the columns correct, or make the windows correct, so it's structurally plausible. Since I went to all that trouble, we're gonna put some beams on the inside. Some timber beams. Just to emphasize the fact that I got the structure proper. Because otherwise I would have done that for no good reason. I mean, all of these things are just architecture-y things that none of you should be all that concerned about, to be honest. But you know, I've had some architecture training. I can't just ignore all of that, right? So I have to do this properly, otherwise I'm being a bad example to you all, right? This should probably come down by one more slab. As you build this thing, also just kind of, I said this earlier, but just kind of take note of how much work it takes to build a large building. Compared to that little cafe thing we did earlier, even compared to the statue we did for the first exercise. This is becoming quite a bit of work, isn't it? Just kind of going around here and putting down all these blocks. The projects only get bigger from here. And there is there's a point to this, is that if you want to make impressive things, whether in Minecraft or in real life, you need to be prepared to put in a lot of work and a lot of time to do it right. Otherwise, you're not going to finish, you're not going to make it. And as you maybe think ahead to the final exercise, the monument, consider the monument's probably going to be like, I don't know, 10 times bigger than this. I don't know, I'm just kind of making up numbers. But if it's going to be 10 times bigger than this, then just think about how much time you want to put into that thing in order to make it right. And I feel that that's something every designer should think about at least once in their lives. Actually, no, constantly in their lives. Is, you know, if you want to do something impressive, it's going to take a lot of work. So just get used to the idea of that. Because if you don't... Oh, I was going to do a gable, wasn't I? Oops. I'm doing a gable. So we're going to ignore this. And... Actually, don't... Never mind, I'll figure that out later. We're doing a gable on the two ends. So it's going to end up being a... It's not going to pyramid, you know, at the end, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go to there. And then we're going to step up. To there. I don't know how many of you guys, you know, have played Minecraft for a long time. Maybe most of you have. It might be a bit strange for you to be watching a series like this if you don't actually enjoy Minecraft a lot. But, you know, if you have played Minecraft quite a bit, like, what's the biggest thing you've built? Maybe that's not really... Maybe I should save this for the monumentality project, because that's really going to be big. And we're really going to spend a lot of time on that. Even if we don't really want to, you know, it's going to take a long time to finish that exercise. Some of the things that I'm doing might... I mean, you might have questions. Like, feel free to ask questions in the comments under the video if you want. Like, if I'm doing things and you don't really know why I'm doing these things, like, feel free to ask. Sometimes I do things and I'm not sure whether what I'm doing makes sense to people who are not me, like who don't know the things that I know. So anyway, I'm just making this roof slope up, right? And we're using the slabs because it's the shallower slope than the stairs. And basically I'm just closing in from both sides until we meet in the middle. And that's going to be the roof. And I'm going to deal with the ends of the gable afterwards. Once I've figured out the other bits here. Do I want skylights? No, let's just leave the skylights alone. I did talk about skylights in the instructions for this exercise. And if you do put in skylights, then bonus points for you because I haven't done it. Come on, come on, here we go. How far along are we? We've got ages to go. Alright, let's just keep going. It does rain a lot in Minecraft. The thing with sloping roofs is that it's how you shed the rain off your roof. So slopes on the roof are actually quite important in real life architecture. In Minecraft it makes no difference at all because the rain doesn't actually do anything in Minecraft. But in the real world you really don't want the rain to stay on your roof. You want to shed it off the roof. The thing with like big buildings is that there are many places for it to leak. And so if you don't get rid of the water, then eventually the water's going to find its way inside. So the faster you get the water off your building, the better off the building is, because it has fewer opportunities to leak. So that's something to keep in mind. Like flat roofs are kind of fashionable for modern buildings for some reason. It's actually not great because they're more difficult to waterproof. Because you know the roof, if the roof is flat and the water just kind of sits on the roof, then eventually it's gonna find a leak. Again, I'm just gonna talk about things about architecture that you might not actually have any context for because you know you don't study architecture. But if you think about different roof types around the world, you know, in the colder climates, you have even steeper roofs because you want to get rid of the snow as well as the rain. So that has to be even steeper. Alright, so what's going on here? Let me just do that and that. And do I want skylights? I guess I can have skylights like that. Okay, there you go. So it's a pretty shallow roof. So you see how it's significantly shallower than the stairs one, the slab one. It's okay, it's not the best roof in the world, but the thing about roofs is that people don't really see it very often because it's so high up, right? Because like, you know, if you think about it, you're on the ground, how much of the roof do you really see? You see like that much of it, you don't really see much of the roof when you're walking around the city, right? Like, you know, we're down here, you don't see the roof at all, so if your roof looks bad, it actually doesn't really matter all that much. Huh. I mean, when you're flying around in Minecraft, you might think, wow, that's a really bad roof, that's so boring. It doesn't matter, nobody sees it, so don't worry about it. Okay, let's go back to the inside. We need beams and we need lighting. Okay, let's fix this first of all. This needs to go all the way up to the... Oops. This needs to go all the way up to the ceiling. Which means that. And, that, I guess. It's a bit odd. It's a little bit odd. But that's okay. We're not too concerned about it. Alright, just do that. Oops, and we do that. It's a bit dark, isn't it? I don't know if you can see what's going on here. I'm just extending the walls up to the ceiling, basically. There we go. Lights first, because we can't actually no beams first. Let me just go daytime. It's not that much brighter. How do we do lights? I guess we want to hang them from the ceiling, don't we? I guess we want to hang them from the ceiling. I'm not sure if I want that like that. Let me go to my stone brick stairs, if I can find it. And just turn that into something slightly less bulky. Although it's still quite bulky, to be honest. Slightly better. Slightly better. Okay, beams. Since I talked about them, let's go with our oak logs, oak wood, which is here. And let's put the beams straight across the top, I guess. So, above the columns. You want the weight of the beams to sit on the columns, otherwise, what are the beams sitting on? So wherever your columns are, that's where your beams are going to end up being. If you think about structure and gravity and how do you hold up a lot of weight. So there we go. Let's put that across there. Let's put that across there. I don't know what to do after this though. Probably put a beam here as well. Which is interesting because the beams aren't regular, like there's a strange pattern in the ceiling. And that's unusual, but that's okay. This whole building's a little bit unusual to start with. I mean, if you're doing a real building, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with the structure and then fit in the windows and the furniture into it afterwards. So we're literally doing things backwards here. We're doing things backwards for the sake of, looking at things from a different perspective, but it's not realistic. In the real world, you really would start with the structure because if the building doesn't stand up, then nothing else matters. So first of all, you have to make sure that the building stands up, and then you can fit in the furniture and the windows afterwards. So by doing things backwards, I think you can see how the structure becomes a little bit strange, because things are irregular, kind of. So that's something to keep in mind if you ever become a real architect, is you don't do this sort of thing in real life very much. That is the strangest thing I've ever seen, to be completely honest with you. That is literally the strangest thing I've ever seen. The way this roof is. Never mind. Most people don't look up, so I guess you won't even notice, except I'm kind of pointing it out to you right now. That's another thing, most people don't look up, so if your roof is a bit strange, very few people will notice, but I will notice because I'm an architect, or at least I'm an architecture student. I've studied architecture. I don't build real buildings, at least not yet. Most people don't notice. Alright, let's leave that like that, and I guess it does set up a convenient pattern for our lights. So let's go back to our fence and glowstone lights, because why fix something that isn't broken? 2 blocks and then a light. 2 blocks and then another light, and then we'll skip that one. And then 2 blocks and a light. 2 blocks and a light. Oops. Looks good to me. 2 blocks. Lights there. Not bad. Not bad. I like how this is turning out. Let me just put that there first. And then put that there. So the bigger shop is really quite a conventional building in the end. I mean, we just put walls around the perimeter, put some doors and windows in. And there was nothing too fancy about it. At least the cafe had an outdoor seating area, which is slightly more interesting. But, it took a bit of work to put this in. So here we go. This is the interior of the shop. It's not bad. I mean, I'm not sure if I like it so much. I'm a bit dubious about the choice of materials. Like, it's kind of orange and red and orange. I'm not sure I like this orange color. The orange of the red sandstone. But I'll leave it. I mean, it's not too much of a problem. There's kind of enough light here. Let's check it And I guess we should put a light in here as well. Maybe there? That's good. The arrangement of the furniture in here is a little bit strange. It's actually it's a lot strange. I designed this so that you can put the corridor either on the outside or on the inside. So here I put the corridor like on the outside. I mean on this side. You can like put a corridor on the other side too. Like I left enough space for that. That's why the office is so cramped. I'm gonna leave the office there. I'm not gonna change the furniture too much. Although if you want to change the furniture, you can. All right, I think I'll leave this here. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with it. As I said, I'm not too sure about the color of that orange, but overall, I think this is perfectly fine. All right, let's go back outside. See how it looks from the outside. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's just walk all around it and see it from different angles. First of all, from the ground. What's it like at the back? This is pretty. I mean, the pattern of the windows is slightly odd. Like this kind of 3232 and then a blank and then 1122. Like you're not really sure why it's like that. Like why are there not regular windows? But that's because of the walls and the beams and the things on the inside, right? So that's a little bit strange in that sense, but not too strange. I think we can deal with that. And then if we head over to the town square and look back, they're perfectly fine buildings. Do we need to walk through the cafe again? I don't think we need to. Let's think about this. I think I like the cafe a little more because of like the big windows, the spaciousness. I like the big one. I mean, I like the cafe a bit more. Maybe we should have bigger windows everywhere. I'm not going to change it now, but just things to keep in mind. I like the big windows, and I don't like the color of the red sandstone. I think there's also a point where bigger buildings are more difficult to design because there's more things you have to juggle. Like the fact that it's 2 stories, for example, and then there's the beams, and then there's the window patterns. So the bigger your building, the more things you have to think about. So yeah, I like the bigger windows. I don't like the color of the red sandstone. So if we had to do this again, I would do those things differently. But otherwise, I guess we're done here. Alright, so that's my version of the second exercise. I don't know how you guys want to build yours. I suspect they won't be too different, or maybe they will be. Who knows? Maybe you're going to build something completely different. And that'll be great if you do. Alright, let's end the video here. The next video will be lecture 3, where we're going to talk about scale and proportion. And exercise 3 is going to be there. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.